Spit to the beat. Podcast. It's all about inside the music industry.
Nobody do it better. And welcome to the Spit to the Beat podcast. I'm your host, Stacey, aka Beat Unstoppable Per Year, and we are back live in the virtual studio today. But before we get started, I definitely want you to check out. You'll be able to catch some of these video clips of this show and all my other shows on my Facebook page as Stacey Beat Unstoppable Per Year, as well as Stacey Spit to the Beat Per Year. Also, go on to my YouTube channel and don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit that notification button where you can catch the full clip of this video on Spit to the Beat. I really do appreciate it. And welcome to the show. I got a great guest in the studio, waiting to bring her on in just a second. But I want to let all my subscribers, my sponsors know that I really do appreciate you being part of my show and helping me to produce this show each and every Thursday where you catch new episodes of Spit to the Beat podcast. And also, if you'd like to be my guest, email me at myguest@spittothebeat.com or give me a call at 901-341-6777. Now, without further ado, I want to bring on my guest. She's a native of Little Rock, Arkansas. So I'm going to let her introduce herself as she come on. Hey. How you doing, Miss Nicky?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here, and thank you for your patience again.
Great.
And inviting me on here. But thank you for having me. I am Nicky Parrish. I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas. I'm a vocalist. I've been singing for maybe more than 20 years. I used to sing backup for Smokey. I think I've won the Apollo and Showtime at the Apollo about 6 or 7 times. And I'm still out here just doing my thing, and I have an EP coming out soon.
Awesome. So let's talk about the winnings at the Apollo, Showtime at the Apollo, and the BET Apollo. How was that? How was that experience for you?
Well, back in the day when I first competed, that's when Steve Harvey was the host, and there was a lady by the name of Donna Grady Creer, who was with the Gospel Announcers Guild, who and actually she and I had the same birthday as Ella Fitzgerald. But she got me on, her and a lady named Mardine Fields, who was another host of Bobby Jones Gospel.
Okay.
I got a chance to compete. And at that time, it wasn't on the air like, we have the YouTube videos, online videos and stuff like that. So I've got a chance to compete and got all the way up to the top dog and couldn't afford to go back. So this last time I competed, I won all the money that I spent to get there. And then I got invited onto the TV show where I won first place. That was with Dougie Fresh, Gladys Knight, and Michael Bivins. So, yeah, I won that.
Yeah, I remember those days when they was judging the Apollo at that time. So you got I would say, what's the word, accolade of a recognition from one of the greatest legendary icon in the music industry. She was referring to your voice as a raw gift from God, Miss Gladys Knight. How did you receive that?
So first of all, I had to pinch myself because I didn't think I was, I wanted to make sure I wasn't asleep. So it's a lot of things that goes on behind the scenes that you don't see, of course, because, they have to cut it and edit it. The guy before me, he did a Boys to Men song, and he came out with some roses, and he had all the ladies all hype and stuff. And I had to come right behind him. So that's why you hear Dougie Fresh made a statement that I came in and changed the whole setting of the room.
Okay.
When they first talked about us, and to get that remark from Gladys Knight, I don't know. I wanted to cry. I had so many emotions going on because we're talking about and we talking about Gladys who can still glow, still go, still blow. She still sound the same. And for her to tell me welcome, oh man, I'm getting chills thinking about that now. But
That's like the stamp of approval. You know,
yeah, yeah,
ain't nobody take that away from you.
yeah, yeah. I really want to come off that stage and hug her.
I know, right?
I want to get close to her, but yeah, she. So we actually tied. That guy and I tied, and so they had to break the tie at the end of the show. And she stood up for me. And when she stood up, they was like, "Y'all better let her." It
what
was.
What was your
Yeah.
song of choice?
I will always love you by Whitney Houston.
Okay, okay, we're gonna talk about that in a second. I ran across something today about that song. So
Yeah.
let tell me, in your bio, you describe as a diverse singer, opera, rock, soul, R&B, everything. How do you encompass all of that in your work and in your performance?
A lot of that came from experience. When I first started singing, I've never had any vocal training. My mom, back in the day, she was a singer. I don't know if you ever heard of Art Porter.
Yes.
So you may have heard of his son. Art. Well, my mom, growing up, she used to sing with Art Porter, and she did a lot of opera singing. They did a lot of Negro spiritual songs and stuff like that. She was always
Right.
first soprano, and she sang in the choir at our church. So I would mimic her, and then I knew every song on the radio. And growing up, my mom used to tell me I was too loud and to shut up.
You
But
singing
I
all
always
over the
had
house.
all over the house. I
Yeah.
played every record when my parents would have a invite people over to play cards. I would be their DJ, and then my middle sister took over that. So music was always a big thing in our household. So with that, listening to all the music, because it's kind of like even now I have the best of both worlds because I know all the old school and I know all the new school, and so as far as when I started singing with the band, I had to learn a lot from a lot of the I'll say our I wouldn't say legends, but the ones that we looked up to coming up. Um, oh, they were so tough on me. They were so hard on me, but
Yeah.
but they made me appreciate it more so because I'm a singer that listens to instruments as more than I would listen to voices, and so if I had to learn to listen to a certain instrument, if I wanted to go back to the bridge, I had to listen to the instrument that was going to take me there. So that's why I'm really good at putting my own shows together. I know how I want to go in and out of songs, and the only instrument that I play is actually the flute. Then that was in high school.
Really?
Yeah, but my favorite instruments are the bass and drums. Even when I'm on the mic, I will tell the sound man to only put the bass guitar in my monitor and myself. That's all I need. Um, but
Does
then
that trigger all those different genres of sound? I mean,
yeah,
it's for okay.
yes. I got my octave range just mimicking my mom. I've always been able to sing really, really high, with singing songs like Minnie Riperton, all that stuff. And then I have a range where I can sing very, very low, like Anita, the Sades or stuff like that. So I always had an appreciation for unique stuff that stands out. Like if when you hear Anita Baker, that's her. When you hear
Right.
Patti LaBelle, that's her. And so I was taught to be authentic. Whatever you sing, you got to make sure that that's what you sound like. That's all you do. So if you transition into jazz, if you transition into reggae, you need to sound like that's what you do on a regular basis. So,
Okay. So
and
you
I used to
switch it up
buy,
like that.
yeah, I used to buy
Awesome.
a lot of CDs, and I would read the background and who wrote this. I was always into artists who knew how to captivate an audience, like James Brown or um, Ella Fitzgerald with her scatting, Jill Scott, the way she sets up a song, the way she engaged the audience, mid condition. So I was always into singers who just was almost like a DJ, basically. When you hear a DJ play music at a party, he doesn't play the whole song. He plays what the crowd is feeling at that moment, and he play only enough. to keep their attention. And those are the kind of things that I picked up on. And as
You
far as opera, I learned a lot of that singing with the Philander Smith Choir. I was singing first soprano under the leadership of Mr. Stephen Hayes. I had a
so when
scholarship
they
there.
so when they reach out and ask for Nicky, Nicky can come with it all.
I
What
try, you know,
like whatever you need. I got opera, I got R&B, I got soul for you, I got reggae. Hey, that's
and I was never
amazing.
afraid. I was just never afraid to try different stuff. You know, I always wanted, even when I took a stab at rapping, they were like, "Why are you rapping?" Because my baby sister would tell me, "You're too proper. You're talking." And I was trying to get her to understand that I had to learn the lyrics first. Then I
Okay.
incorporate the style. And
Right,
so when
right.
when she first heard me do it on stage, oh, it blew her mind. She said, "You sound like you really know how to rap." I said, "Girl, that's just I'm just pretending, please." But to you would be amazed that I singing wasn't my first choice. I was a ball player for all my life. I broke my ankle in high school playing basketball,
Did you?
and yeah,
Okay.
I've always been able to sing, but I was such a tomboy. Makeup, you didn't see me in no makeup, earrings. I learned a lot of my diva stuff from a lady named Brenda Neal. Uh, she got into me when I first competed on Apollo. She said, "You better take yourself to the mall and let them put some makeup on your face so you can know how to wear makeup. Don't you go up there and get that." And I can't believe I'm telling you this. I had a curl for years.
Oh,
So yeah, it was just a big transition for me. I always liked the girly stuff, and I knew that that's what I wanted to do. You know. But
okay,
yeah.
cool, cool. So hold tight for a second. We'll take a PA break and we'll be right
Okay.
back. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, this is Stacey, aka Beat Unstoppable Per Year with Spit to the Beat podcast. Would you like to be my guest if you're a singer, songwriter, musician, producer, or promoter? Give me a call at 901-341-6777 or email me at myguest@spittothebeat.com. And we're back to Spit to the Beat podcast. I'm your host, Stacey, aka Be Unstoppable Per Year, and I'm joined in my virtual studio with Miss Nicky Parrish, who's talking about so much. I mean, she's really spilling the knowledge of her music career. Now we're gonna jump in on. Let's go back a little bit. We talked
Okay.
earlier about Miss Whitney Houston, that iconic song that she sung, "I Would Always Love You." I didn't know, and I just found this out really, that Dolly Parton was the original writer of
Mhm.
that song.
She
And,
was.
and Whitney took it to a whole nother level, as we know.
Mention. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. She.
yeah. So how was your performance singing that song? What did it do for you in your career?
Um. Well, I've been when it first came out. I've always done a lot of Whitney from the time she came up when she first came out with "You Give Good Love,"
Okay.
and I just knew that this second time around of competing on Showtime at the Apollo, because you're being judged by the crowd. I knew I had to pick something that's going to catch their attention immediately, and to also do something that's really daring. A lot of I mean, it's a lot of Whitney that I don't do. So a lot of singers don't do a lot of Whitney. Whitney is like the ultimate golden voice that of all times. Her voice has always, will forever be, present. I just
Right.
don't ever. I just don't. She will never go away. She will go down in the books in our history. So I just knew that for me, I had to try something that's a little bit challenging, and to make sure that I hit the big notes to show my range as well. But it was definitely a scary moment, to sing a Whitney song.
Right. When you make those attempts on those type of iconic singers, people really like, okay, they're almost judging you to the point
Harder.
of that singer. Yeah, and very hard. So that was a brave move on your part. And I admire you for doing it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
awesome, awesome. You talked about your octave voice. What are there any I would say, are there any exercise that you use to keep your voice you know, up in range and everything. What does the
I,
artist do?
I do, not like I should, I'm gonna be honest, but I have a vocal coach, a great vocal coach. I actually don't like to tell people about him because I don't want nobody to mess with him. But he's like the best kept secret. His name is Carlos Chappell. I've been going to Carlos for about maybe now for about 10 years. And he's worked with some major artists himself. But he tells me he tried to make sure I don't get into bad habits.
Okay.
But of course, with me singing up high and down low, I have to get enough rest. It's just like a muscle. Your voice is just like a muscle. You have to train it, you have to condition it, you have to make sure you get enough rest, you have to eat right. Everybody knows I don't eat before I sing. There are times when I'm traveling, if I have to sing out of town, I actually forget that I haven't eaten all day because I just don't eat before I sing. I try to eat something early, and if I don't eat before I leave, 9 times out of 10 I won't.
You
So
know,
yes, certain foods will coat your throat if you're not careful.
you
Yeah.
ain't never got lightheaded on stage, have you?
Yes.
Oh
Yes, I
wow!
have. That's you were supposed to ask that. Yes.
It came to me.
Yeah. So I do a song when I'm doing the our corporate wedding and stuff. Um I sing a lot in Memphis. So when we're doing the wedding and stuff, it's a song I do. I will survive, and then I would hold this note for a long time. And yeah, I had to kind of like just catch myself. The audience think I'm entertaining, but I am. But I'm really trying to make sure I don't fall out and faint on
Right.
stage because I haven't eaten. But yeah, I try to do better. You just have to really just be careful, and if you're lazy at times and you're not careful, it's I tell everybody you'll be better off getting a vocal coach, a good vocal coach, and someone that's gonna be able to bring out the best. Because there are a lot of I wouldn't I don't know. Ever since I've been with Carlos, I haven't gone anywhere else. Yeah.
Okay. Y'all been working together for a long time, I'm
Hmm.
assuming. That's
Hmm.
amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What are there any new projects Miss Nikki is working on that's coming up in I'm know we halfway into the year, so got another half to go. So you have anything coming up in 2023,
I
or we need to
I
look
do.
forward to some?
I do. I have an EP coming out. It's 7 songs on that EP. It was supposed to have been released last year. Um,
Okay.
but, I'm sure, like a lot of people, when you deal with a lot of death in the family, friends, and I think last year I may have sang at about 10 funerals last year, and I
Wow.
had I had to sing at some funerals in my own family. So it was just quite a lot. And my dad, he's been gone for 3 years. So I was actually scheduled to release my album on his birthday, but I ended up missing that because, like I said, I was always on the go, and people needed me, and I wanted to be there for them. So, but I am gonna release it this year. If it's not next month, then I may just wait again and try to release it on my dad. My dad's birthday is in October.
It's
I really
entitled
don't.
what?
It's called. It's either. I have two choices, so I don't want to.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's kind of like round two or set two.
Yeah.
Basically, like I'm starting over again. I'm getting another opportunity to present some new music, and this time around I'm able to do everything. I don't like to be stuck in a box. So I'm
I was
doing
getting
some.
ready to say that. What type of flavor are we bringing with this new? So go ahead.
I got jazz, of course. I have some pop music on there. There's another song that's kind of bluesy and with a little pop in it. Um, and I have another song that's going to mess a lot of people up. There's a song, it's called Halfway to Nowhere. There's this guy, producer, who's written for people like NSYNC, Boys to Men. And when I first heard it, and he only wrote the first verse of the song. When I heard that song, I told my producer I want that song and I want to sing it that low. He said no. So I'm really like, because it's called Halfway to Nowhere, and I want the feeling of being heartbroken and just kind of
Okay.
lost and stuck in a in a position you don't know where you're going. So what are we doing, basically? So yeah, it's called Halfway to Nowhere. And my band loves it, loves it. You wouldn't even think it's me when you hear it. Yeah.
Awesome. Look, hold on one more time. We'll take another PA break and we'll be right back.
No problem.
Hey, this is Stacy, aka Be Unstoppable Per You. Thank you for listening to our show, Spit to the Beat podcast. If you would like to be a sponsor, visit our website at www.spittothebeat.com and click the support tab and leave a donation. We really would appreciate it. Thank you again for listening. Also, catch every episode Thursday morning at 8 a.m. And we're back to the Spit to the Beat podcast. I'm your host, Stacey, aka Be Unstoppable Per You, and we're live virtually in the studio with my special guest all the way from Little Rock, Arkansas, Miss Nicky Parrish, who's an extraordinary singer-songwriter, and she's just releasing new music that's coming out later this year. Let's talk about one other thing. I want to ask you, and I ask all my guests this, what advice would you give up and coming artists who's trying to break into the music industry, get their foothold, or what roads do they need to take and what they need to avoid?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a loaded question. Um, so for years, I've been trying to be like an advocate for females, because it's really really harder for us in this music industry.
Right.
Um, the one thing I can honestly say is to get you a support group first and foremost. The ones that are going to help you stay grounded, the ones that's going to protect you, guard you, and also be honest with you and support you. That the unconditional love that you need on it, where you can be yourself. Because you have, once you step out the house, you have to turn it on and be something totally different. The other thing is to grind hard, learn everything about the business. I'm not where I should be and where I want to be, but I do know enough to where I had been in positions where I've had to set up my own sound equipment. I do all the driving if I have to. I do all the booking. So because singers are known to be the lowest paid on the ticket sometimes. Especially when you're in a band. So just learn as much as you can about the business. You'll never stop learning. Um, um, Network a lot. If you find somebody that's really really nice and open to you, that will support you and give you some advice, cherish those moments, and keep in touch with those people, because you never know, you may need to go back to those people, and be careful how you burn bridges. But at the same time, if you're in a position where you're not needed or wanted or appreciated, you have to be able to learn how to move on, because a lot of people do, some people can hold you back if you're not careful. um,
Right.
that's really it. That's all I can say. Is no more than just about life. Basically, you have to just take every moment and seize it, no matter how big or small, and treat every opportunity as if it's your last, because people don't have to choose you. It's a blessing to be chosen out here. Um, it's a lot of performers, a lot of singers, musicians that are out there that are hungry. So when you get the opportunity to be chosen, that's a blessing. So you should cherish every opportunity that you get.
You said something in that, uh, something I think is for you and it's by you. As far as an artist, what are you? I'm just directing this towards you, back to you. What is your long term ambitions and goals in your music career?
Um, First of all, foremost, just create and release good music, for all walks of life. Um, I also want to help a lot of other artists get started with artist development, or whatever I can do to help our up and coming artists. We got some babies out here coming out here playing six, seven instruments at a time. And you just be like, "Oh, this is incredible," and they sound like they're seasoned musicians.
Okay.
And a lot of these babies, I say babies,
They babies.
I say that because a lot of them are coming up and they're getting taken advantage of. And it's kind of hard in this business. It's a cutthroat business, so it's hard to find good people that want to see you win. So whatever I can do to help someone, and to, of course, to own my own entertainment company, that way I can be better advocate for those that are coming up who may need my help.
That's great. That's great. Look, I want to thank you for coming on the show, or Spit to the Beat podcast, and being my guest.
I appreciate you. Thank you, man. I appreciate your patience. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So hold tight as I wrap up the show. Be right back.
All right.